Hey there guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about 2020. Now, don't click off yet, please. I'm not going to sit here and talk about how horrible it was or all the things that went wrong. Because honestly, in some ways I kind of enjoyed 2020. Not in the way of the what must not be named way, but I did really enjoy some of the things that kind of came out of it. And by that I mean I really enjoyed having a couple months off work, which sounds really lazy, and I understand that, but it's honestly very innocent. I work a lot. In the past couple months, I have had some 56-hour weeks, which means I'm working 8 hours every single day. I did that intentionally. It wasn't because anyone forced me to. Mind you, Saturdays generally aren't optional, so 6 days is normal for me. But occasionally I volunteer for 7 so that I can have the next weekend off. So, because legally no one can force you to work more than 12 days in a row, in Ontario anyway. I actually did have a couple 56-hour weeks, which amounted to 100-hour paychecks. And I actually did have a 104-hour paycheck in October, whenever I went to North Bay. I literally worked 12 days in a row, and then I took a 4-hour car ride to North Bay. Like, sometimes it's kind of exhausting. Sometimes I barely see my kid. So he obviously has school at the same hours that I go to work, but then he wants to stay at the after school program for a little bit, which is kind of nice for me because it gives me a chance to get changed and get what I want to do for dinner decided. And honestly, some days it was like I didn't even see him. I would literally go pick him up, have dinner, read him a story, and put him to bed. And it got to the point where he was actually asking me to quit my job. And that was, honestly, that was probably about a week before the shutdown officially happened here in Ontario. My son literally was begging me to quit my job. And he's only 5, so the fact that that was even happening was an issue. So yeah, I got to take, well, I had 4 months off. Most of my coworkers had 2 months, but I had 4 months off with my amazing little boy. I decided to stay home until just before he went back to school. Well, it wasn't really a choice. It was actually because babysitters weren't really running right at that point. So I had to wait until I found a babysitter that was willing to take him. But yeah, so I had 4 amazing months with my little boy, and we did a lot of hiking. We had a lot of fun. We made one trip up to Kingston, and honestly, we just enjoyed ourselves the best we could, as safely as we could. Yeah, so that's one thing, is like, I don't really, like, I mean, aside from, I haven't seen my grandparents. I was trying to make excuses to see them in the summer, but that's a lot harder in the winter because I can't ask them to stand outside on their front porch for half an hour in the middle of a Canadian winter. That's inhumane. I haven't seen them since September, which is a long time. And I just spent my first Christmas without them in my entire life. I'm 27 years old and I've never once spent a Christmas without them as far as I remember. So it's been a very, very sad Christmas actually in that sense. But anyway, we were talking about good things. So what I wanted to do today is I wanted to talk about my vision board from 2020. Because what's the point of making goals publicly if you're not going to talk about them publicly after? So let's do that. So this here is the vision board I made in 2020. There's a video that I made. I know most people usually do pictures, but I really wanted to use all of the energy I had, and I drew everything because I really wanted to, spending the time staring at it as I was drawing it, I feel like it really helped me to focus more on it. So the video for when I made this went up January 25th of 2020, and next week I will be making a new vision board for 2021. So if you guys would like to see that, next week it will be there. But yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about this one today. So I'm just going to go through everything and tell you what happened, what didn't happen, and we'll go from there. So first and foremost, this upgrade technology. I did it. I actually, in May-ish, I bought a new camera. Which I wanted. You can see I wanted a screen that went up and down, and I wanted a Canon. So I have a Canon M100 and it does have a flip screen. And aside from that, I also upgraded my phone to an iPhone 11 Pro, and I also got, you can see right here, I got myself a ring light. So if you guys think the lighting's a little better, let me know, because it really should be. I've really worked hard to update my technology. Spoiler alert, one thing I want to do this year is I really want to upgrade and get some GoPros for when I go hiking and stuff. My son has been talking nonstop about all the hiking we went on, or all the hikes that we went on in 2020, and he said, I can't wait till the snow's all gone so we can go for a hike. But what he doesn't know is that all of the waterfalls that I took you guys with me to see in the summer actually will freeze solid in a waterfall in the winter. So I want to go on my first ever snow hike to see some of the frozen waterfalls. But to do that, I'm going to need my hands because it's going to be icy as all hell. And so I'm going to need something on me, so I want to get a GoPro for that. And that is my hopefully next investment. So, financially stable. Okay, so that one's kind of a deep one, because, yeah, okay, so I paid off my car loan, which was the big thing. So in 2018, I took out a $5,000 car loan, and that loan barely covered the cost of the car. So the car was $4,500 from the person who bought it, or who I bought it from, sorry. So the car is a 2009 Ford Escape. It is my second Escape. My first one I had an amazing experience with, so I didn't even want to like replace it. The only reason why I did was because the transmission blew twice, and I obviously couldn't afford to either rebuild it or replace it twice, because that's a very expensive thing. So once the transmission blew a second time, I was like, that's it, I need to cash this thing in. So I took it to the scrapyard and got 300 bucks for it. That 300 bucks went into an envelope, and then I contacted my bank and I got a $5,000 loan for my next vehicle purchase. After 3 daunting, overwhelming months of looking for a vehicle, sharing my mother's van, not a fun time, by the way. After 3 months, I finally found the perfect, so I thought, SUV Ford Escape. I was excited, I was happy. It cost me $4,500 up front, and then the government wanted $800 just to put it on the road, so that was literally everything in my bank account. Plus, I also needed to get it safetied and certified. So, safetying it wasn't too bad. I don't remember what it needed, but it was about $600 worth of work. And my mechanic's really great, and he worked with me, and I was able to pay him off slowly, and that was okay. But then, 2 years ago from yesterday, so like literally was my first time ever driving the car. I bought the car on Boxing Day of 2018, and then December 31st, it was New Year's Eve, and I decided to take my car, which was now legal and on the road, for a little trip to the next town over to go to the Walmart and get some groceries, because obviously New Year's Day everything's closed. I literally packed up all my groceries, put them all in the trunk, closed the back hatch, and my back windshield shattered. That was a fun time, or the complete opposite of a fun time. And that ended up costing me $600. And then there was an issue with the front of my car, which I don't remember what part it was, but something went in the front of my car, and that was like another $400. So basically, at the end of the day, I ended up with like, it was like an $1,198 bill that I now had to pay off, because it was my certification or safety-ing stuff, it was the back windshield, and it was whatever went wrong in the front of the car. Yeah, so basically, I worked really hard to pay everything off. I had 2 years to pay off my $5,000 bank loan, and I had from 2018, December 2018 to December 2020 to pay it off. And I paid it off completely in March. So I paid it off completely 8 months early, and I mean, I've never felt so great about anything like that ever in my life. But then I think very soon after, I think it was like either April or May, I was able to pay my mechanic off because I was off and being paid by my job, which I'm really thankful for, but I wasn't paying for childcare, I wasn't paying for lunches, I wasn't paying for anything pretty much. So yeah, I was able to pay my mechanic off really fast too. Now it's just a credit card, and I'm not at the limit, but I'm very, very close, and I'm working on it. But I'm just happy that everything else is paid off anyway. Alright, so next thing is place of my own. Obviously, I've put a lot of money in other things, and yeah, I'm still living at my mom's house. 27, living with my mother, but you know, I'm not that upset about it because it's giving me the opportunity to save a little more. Like, of course I pay rent and I pay to live here and I pay for groceries and all of that stuff. But it's a lot cheaper than if I was paying for a place, you know, elsewhere. Because right now, in the Canadian dollar, it's like $1,100 for a 2-bedroom apartment in most places. And I'm paying significantly less than that in rent here. And I don't want to rent. I've decided, even though I did say when I was making this that I would be okay with renting, I'm really not. The fact that you just pay and pay and pay into something, and then at the end of the day, if you get evicted or if you have to move out, you don't get anything back from that. And that's just not something that's really settling with me very well. Like, I watched my mom struggle to pay rent and stuff like that for most of my life. And then when she finally bought a house, she's like, honestly, my mortgage is a lot less than my rent ever was. And at the end of the day, I have something to show for it. And I'm like, you know what? That's kind of where I'm at too. Is she's got like this stability. Nobody can yank the rug out from under her, you know? And that's actually something that really scares me, is I'm afraid that at some point someone could just be like, hey, I need you to move out. And I'd be like, how do I just reroute, like, or deroute, or yeah, reroute my entire life and my son's entire life? It's just not what I want. So I actually haven't fully decided where my home is yet. That's another reason why I'm happy I haven't bought a place. Because I've kind of like realized where my sister lives, where I grew up, that's not my home anymore. I go there to visit a lot, but it's not where I feel at home anymore. And obviously here, this is my mom's home. This is a new town that I moved to when I was 19 or 20. And I've just been here because it was kind of where my mom was. But truthfully, I don't really know where I belong yet. And so that's why I'm also like really happy I haven't bought a place. I just haven't found that sense of this is where I should be yet. But I will. And when I do, hopefully I'll have the funds saved up and I can buy a place where I need to be. So 200 subscribers. I'm actually not too upset to say that didn't happen, because I didn't realize how happy 100 would make me. I hit 100 in September, 100 subscribers. I'm currently at 134. And you know, with how different my plans had to be, with 2020 being the way it was, I'm kind of not surprised that my channel didn't grow as much as I was hoping for, because I didn't get to do a lot of the things I kind of promised. I said I wanted to travel more. I said I wanted to do a lot of new things. I wanted to do a lot of firsts. I wasn't able to do those because everything was kind of on halt. So hopefully 2021 can be the new 2020, and hopefully I can do some of those things and take you on some of the adventures I promised, and hopefully it'll just be a funner time for everybody. Yeah, like I really want to go on a kayaking trip this summer. That's the first thing I kind of decided, that I really want to go on a kayaking trip. But of course I need to get a GoPro before I do that, and possibly a kayak, unless I can find somewhere that'll rent them during the pandemic. So this one here, I was working on a writing class, and in my writing class, I finished. I finished my writing class with a 93, and out of it, I got this. I'm gonna cover my last name just because I've never really wanted my... See? This is to certify that Michelle has completed a course of studies in creative writing, and in testimony whereof this diploma with highest honors is awarded. So I was like basically on the honors roll too. That's kind of cool. So yeah, I do actually have all of my stories and stuff I wrote literally right next to me. So if you guys would like to maybe hear any of those, I can maybe do a reading video because I'm actually very proud of them. And if you guys want me to do like a little reading session for you, I totally would. Down 20 pounds. Okay, so that one, the reason why I made that one wasn't really because I felt like I was obese or any of that sort. It was a healthy decision for the most part, but also because it was, my sister was supposed to get married in September, even though the wedding was moved due to everything going on in the world. I had to fit into a really nice dress if the wedding had been in September. And I really wanted to look good in that dress because those pictures are going to be around for a long time. The problem is, when I made this, I never weighed myself. A little bit of back history on me is I have struggled with eating disorders since I was about 11. So that's about 18 years. I've been having really hard times with my weight. So I've kind of made it like a rule in my own life not to weigh myself. Because I get too focused on the numbers. What I can say is this. In July, I made a video. I made a video with my sister called the Onesie Challenge, where we did an obstacle course in the backyard and we both had to fit in the same pants and we both had to fit in the same shirts and sweater. And then we basically just hopped across the lawn, and it was a lot of work. It was exhausting. But I can say that after watching that video back and then looking at myself today, I have definitely lost weight in the past couple months. And I can also say that when I went back to work, I was a 34 waist. That was in August. In August, I went back to work and I was I was probably about a 35 waist, but I squeezed into a 34, and I'm now into a 32. So I've dropped 2 waist sizes, 2 inches. I don't know anything about it. All I know is I feel better, I fit into clothes a little better, and I'm proud of myself. I don't know if I lost 20 pounds per se, but I lost something, and I feel better. So that's what I will say to that. I almost don't even want to touch on the last one. So, finding love. Did I find love? I did not. Did I really look? I did not. I kind of, you know, obviously with everything going on, I couldn't really go anywhere, and I've kind of come to the conclusion that I don't want to find any love or connections here, because then I might be forced to stay here. And so I'd rather wait until until I love my life a little more. So I want to be where I'm supposed to be before that kind of stuff happens. You know, all I can say is I love my kid, I love my family, and I really just want to make sure that I'm finding someone when I'm ready to find someone. So the fact that I even put that on my vision board, it kind of makes me a little upset with myself, because I was like, Michelle, you kind of set yourself up to fail on that one, which may not be fully true. I probably didn't set myself up for failure on that, but I've had the conversations with my friends and everything, and I realized that I kind of already knew that it wasn't going to happen, because I'm not really looking for it. I'm not looking for relationships right now. I'm looking for like the lifelong friendships. I'm looking for my own like successes. Like I got 1 step closer to living my dream, or should I say 2 steps, because I hit 100 subscriber, which puts me at 10% of the way to monetization for YouTube. And I passed a writing course, so I'm now officially able to get jobs in publishing, writing, editing, and all I really have to do is just sit down and try. The trying part will come sometime this year, I hope. But yeah, so I got, like, I did do relatively well. Out of the 6 things I ended up, so again, upgrading my technology, I did more than just upgrade my camera. I upgraded my phone, I upgraded my lighting. I am soon to hopefully update my laptop, which the headphone jack doesn't really work anymore, so it's very hard to edit videos. And I hope to buy a GoPro sometime in the near future. And then on top of that, financial stability. For the most part, I don't owe anybody anything. My mechanics are paid off, the bank is paid off, all that's left is my credit card. Place of my own. I'm in a place where I'm safe, happy, and my son is safe and happy as well. 200 subs, I'm at 134, and I'm very, very proud of it. Finishing my writing class. done with a 93 and a diploma, and I'm excited. I said that word really weird. With a 93 and a diploma, there we go. Down 20 pounds. Not 100% sure if I lost weight or just moved weight, but either way, I am healthier, happier, and still working on becoming more active. And love. Of course, like I already said, I haven't been in a relationship, I haven't started a relationship, I haven't ended a relationship. I'm surrounded by loving people, and when I'm ready for love, I'll find it. I need to stop trying to rush it, because that's the way I'm gonna get myself hurt. And that's like my biggest fear, is getting hurt or getting my son hurt, because I'm really worried that I'm gonna find someone that he's gonna get really attached to, and it's gonna be the wrong one because I rushed into it, and then he's gonna get hurt in the process. And that is honestly probably my biggest fear. But yeah, so that is my summary of my 2020 vision board. Join me next week where I will be making a vision board for 2021. I'm gonna do it in the exact same fashion as I did this one. I'm gonna take a piece of paper and I'm gonna draw it, because that's, I feel like I'm putting my energy into it. I'm not just flipping through a comic book or a magazine and cutting up the articles. I'm literally putting my effort into it, even though I'm a really bad artist, and don't try to tell me otherwise, because like that was my icon for financial stability. I will admit this camera is pretty good for a second grade level artist. But yeah, so anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would love to hear in the comments about some of your guys' goals and stuff that were met in 2020. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next week with a new vision board. Bye!